Well, in other news, Nigeria's anti-corruption war seems to be yielding results as the country has moved up 4 places in the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index (CPI) for 2018. In the latest report unveiled on Tuesday, Nigeria was ranked 144 out of the 180 countries that were surveyed last year. Well, this translates to an upward movement compared to the 148 the nation was ranked in 2017. Adesha Odushoga tells us more.
Fighting corruption was the major promise of the All Progressives Congress in its 2015 presidential campaign. This was spearheaded by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), which has instigated a trial and conviction of many political office holders, has however faced criticisms from the major opposition party, People's Democratic Party, who have severely alleged bias and one-sidedness. According to them, the president is fighting the opposition and not corruption.
We are all witnesses to how this government has serially assaulted the National Assembly, a separate arm of government that represents the bastion of our democracy. However, with this attack on the judiciary, General Muhammadu Buhari has set a new precedent in our democracy that has no equivalence in our history. Not even in the darkest days of military dictatorship. This cannot be allowed to stand.
But the All Progressives Congress have continued to defend its actions, saying the administration will continue to hunt corrupt individuals in the public sector, irrespective of their political affiliations.
The major problem that Nigeria has is that of grand corruption. Corruption at the highest levels. That's a major problem we have. I'm not even talking about contractual corruption now. I'm talking of corruption at the highest level. That's the problem we have. That's one of the reasons why we've been so slow in making progress. And I think that also explains why it is that despite earning 60% less revenue, we're doing far more than even the previous government. We're spending 2.7 trillion on capital, the highest in the history of the country, despite earning 60% less.
Amidst these recent dramas, an international organization, Transparency International, reveals that some bit of progress is being made in the anti-corruption war. In its latest Corruption Perception Index for the year 2018, Nigeria moved 4 positions up from 148th to 144th position, ranking 19th position in Africa's most corrupt country and 33rd in the world. These reports have now generated reactions from Nigerians.
With the moving upward in the steps and also number, I'm sure will be celebrated by the government. But the hypocrisy of that will be to the extent that the government tried to undermine it in 2017 when it moved and lost some slots under the rating. For me, the rating of the Transparency International should not be the only benchmark for which you want to confirm if a government is performing or otherwise. It is the Nigerian people that needs to benchmark the government and tell if things are going well or not within the system. It is very possible that many of some of these international rating organizations get susceptible to the influence of either the government or the opposition. But what is most important is that for Nigerians themselves, they should be able to know if corruption is actually reducing in the system or it is increasing within the system. But you can tell categorically that it is a complete departure from the past in terms of how corruption was perpetuated by the previous governments with so much impunity that the country was subjected to international embarrassment and criticism by several governments in terms of corrupt practices that are associated with officers of that government. But with the latest release of the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, well, it is for the government to either celebrate or reassess itself and then clearly understand that there's a lot to be done beyond just what the report is scoring the government.
Over time, scores from the Corruption Perception Index have shown that the performance of the country is fluctuating. The statistics recorded its highest score in the second year of the Buhari's administration in 2016. However, in recent years, the country has retained its score despite an increase in its position. Adeshewa Odushoga, TV360 Nigeria.